नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिकी मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रीमद् भागवतम ग्रंथराज की जय, श्री गुरुदेव की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, निताय गौर सीतनाथ प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा। So a very warm and a hearty welcome to all the devotees, and it was a little bit of gap which had happened. So here we are yet back again to know how we should get unentangled from all the fruitive activities that we are always under commitment of. So we'll go on to text Canto 3, Chapter 32, Text 17. And the chapter entitled is Entanglement in Fruitive Activities. Rajasa kunta manasaha kamatmano jitendriyaha pitrin yajanti anudinam griheshu abhiratashayah. The translation: such persons impelled by the mode of passion are full of anxieties and always aspire for sense gratification due to uncontrolled senses. They worship the forefathers and are busy day and night, improving the economic condition of their family, social, or national life. We'll take the next verse also along with this. So you can just project the next verse. Okay, I think the was held up. So we'll go on to the next verse, that is text 18. Traivargika te purusha vimukha harimedasaha katayam katanniyoru tikramasya madhu disaha. Translation: such persons are called Traivargika because they are interested in the three elevating processes. They are averse to the Supreme Personality of Godhead who can give relief to the conditioned soul. They are not interested in the Supreme Personality's pastimes, which are worth hearing because of his transcendental prowess. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. I'll just read the purport. According to Vedic thought, there are four elevating principles, namely religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. Persons who are simply interested in material enjoyment make plans to execute prescribed duties. They are interested in the three elevating processes of religious rituals, economic elevation, and sense enjoyment. By developing their economic condition, they can enjoy material life. Materialistic persons, therefore, are interested in those elevating processes which are called Traivargika. Tri means three, Vargika means elevating processes. Such materialistic persons are never attracted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rather, they are antagonistic towards him. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is here described as Harimedaha, or he who can deliver one from the cycle of birth and death. Materialistic persons are never interested in hearing about the marvelous pastimes of the Lord. They think that they are fictions and stories, and that the Supreme Personality is also a man of material nature. They are not fit for advancing in devotional service of Krishna consciousness. Such materialistic persons are interested in newspaper stories, novels, and imaginary dramas. The factual activities of the Lord, such as Lord Krishna's acting in the battle of Kurukshetra, or the activities of the Pandavas, or the Lord's activities in Vrindavana or Dwaraka, are related in the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam, which are full of the activities of the Lord. But materialistic persons who are engaged in elevating their position in the material world are not interested in such activities of the Lord. They may be interested in the activities of a great politician or a great rich man of this world, but they are not interested in the transcendental activities of the Supreme Lord. Om Ajnana-Timirandhasya Jnananjana-Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Vishnavishthaya Bhutale. Hare Krishna. So here, these two verses which we have right now read. This was taking our condition. This is the verse which we were practicing before we entered into the process of Krishna consciousness. So before we entered into this process of Krishna consciousness, or we even knew what is actual spiritual life or leading a holistic life, to be very frank, because we don't even know the term spiritual before we enter into the zones of Krishna consciousness. So what is actually holistic life? So these two verses are basically focusing on our ideologies before we came into the ISKCON, or we know what is chanting, etc., etc. So those who we know that people are there who are in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, all these different, we know that. Now, those who are into the mode of passion, always they are in anxiety, because it is a passionate activity that we always have gratification towards something. And if that gratification is not satisfied, then naturally we develop anxiety. So that is always there. And why does this anxiety come? Because my senses are not gratified in the way that I desire it should be gratified. Yeah. So that is why this anxiety actually awakens. And it is because in the mode of passion, we keep so much hopes. But in the mode of goodness, or Vasudeva Sattva, if we are in, we totally go into the mode of surrender, because let it happen by the will of the Lord, understanding that is Krishna consciousness. So those who are impelled by the mode of passion are always in anxiety, are always in doubt, and are always not having quite a controlled senses, because mainly because they are thinking that they are the doers. Now, such people are said that they worship the forefathers, and day and night they are quite busy in cultivating more of their economic development, they're keeping up the social status of their life, and having a social life. All this is what their focus is basically on. Now, such people is what Bhagavatam says are trivargikas. They are of tri means three. There are three types of ways in which people can really elevate themselves, from whatever status they are in, to elevate themselves. Now we all know that the four basic concepts of a materialistic mode of life is dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Okay, so that is religiosity, economic development, and sense gratification, and also liberation. Now, those who are basically interested only in sense enjoyment, what they do is that they mainly focus on their prescribed duties. Okay, what is their prescribed duties towards so and so of the family members, towards the nation, towards the social society, etc., etc. This is what they basically focus upon. So such people, they are basically interested in these three elevating processes, Trivargikas, that's why they are called as these three basic elevating processes, they are so much interested in. So they mainly opt for elevating their economic condition, because there is a basic understanding that more riches you have, more you have the grip over the society. So therefore they basically try to elevate their economic status a lot, basically. Now, here Prabhupada says materialistic persons are interested in all these three elevating processes, and therefore they are called as Trivargika. Tri means three, and Vagika means the elevating process. Now, such people, because they're too much into the development of their economic life, they're not interested in hearing anything which is holistic. Not what is holistic, not interested in hearing something which is spiritual. Now, there is a vast way of difference between being holistic and being spiritual. In this concept of being holistic or being a holy man, in being a holy man or a holy personality, is just that, okay, I go to the temple once in a week or thrice in a week, and then I do my required karmakanda activities to please the deity there, and that is it. I do not have an affinity towards the deity. I do not have a service attitude towards the deity. Neither to the people who are, other holy men, I do not have any attitude of service. I have, just like this Kanishta Adhikari, even little bit lesser than that level. So directly, I have my direct contact is with the deity. I do my regular karmakanda activities with the deity just to please the deity and pacify the deity, and then that is it. No service attitude, no attitude of doing unconditional services, nothing of that sort. So such people, so that is what is called as a holy man. Okay, he is a little bit there, do a little bit God-fearing, to be the right word, God-fearing. But the actual concept of being spiritual is God-loving. It is not God-fearing. Why should you fear God? There is absolutely no necessity to fear the Lord at all. But just like you can say, like when we can relate this very nicely in our scriptures from the Bhagavatam 10th canto of the Indra, the puja to Indra, what the Vrajavasis were doing. They were doing it as because they were doing it with the mood of just a holy man or holy men. If we don't do service or if we don't do puja to Indra, we will have Indra Kogam. We'll have to face a wrath of Indra. So it was not out of service, it was not out of devotion, but it was just due to they just did it in a karmakandic way. And that is why Krishna killed that particular attitude in the Vrajavasis, because Vrajavasis are those devotees or those souls who are totally surrendered to the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the Lord chose that particular place to have his pastimes. So they should totally be weaned away from this attitude of karmakanda. So that is why the Lord totally nullified this particular philosophy, and he brought up the philosophy that why should you serve Indra? You are fearing him. Why should you serve God? Is not somebody whom you should fear. Rather, God is somebody whom you should love and surrender, and it should come from own. It should come on your own accord. When the child falls down, thus the mother has to be told that, see, your child has fallen down, go and pick up the child. No, she runs on her own accord. There is no need to pump anything to her. In the same way, bhakti is that particular platform wherein it comes on its own accord. It comes spontaneously, overflows from the heart. How does it happen? For us conditioned souls, we have to use so much of variegatedness, like we have to do chanting, aratis, all these things. Then only we develop that. But for Brajavasis, it is not required. They are inborn devotees of the Lord. And they facing karmakanda, they doing karmakanda is absolutely to be weaned out. Therefore, the Lord, what he did is that he brought up this philosophy and he totally negated this particular philosophy and totally made them surrender to Govardhan. So that pastime, of course, everybody knows. Now, so here, Prabhupada says that such materialistic persons are never attracted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead because they are totally just dealing with God is just on a business transaction. So in such a situation, that surrender, that love, that devotion, that oneness, that ownership of serving, it doesn't happen there. Now I have a deity at home. Now, if I feel that, okay, he is just a bank there, for me to go and tell all my grievances. I should, that is not a relationship I should maintain there. What is a relationship I should maintain there? Okay, whatever I do, yet karoshi, yadasnasi, whatever I do, whatever I give in charity, whatever I feel like, whatever I want, or whatever I want to serve, everything I go and surrender to my altar. Because the altar or the deity is the integral part of my life. So this is how the concept of Krishna consciousness actually brings us into. But those who do not understand the real concept of Krishna consciousness are leading this particular life, which we are seeing in this particular verse. Now here Prabhupada says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is here described as Harimeda, that is one who delivers a soul, a conditioned soul from the cycle of birth and death. But materialistic persons, coming again, they are absolutely not interested in hearing about Govardhan Leela or hearing about Brahma Vimoha Leela, whatever it may be. They are not interested in all that. Now, I'll come to that particular point. Let me just write that point so that I don't forget it. So now here it is being said that they think that the Lord's pastimes are just fictions, are just simply stories cooked up by some people, like how like some devotees are there from imagination, they have cooked up certain stories. These are the things what they fictitiously maneuver over. And they think that the Lord is just a man, just like me. He is just a man, and he's also part of the material nature. That is it. He also died. The Lord also left his body, etc., etc. Thinking is what happens to people who are totally not spiritually having any knowledge. And for such materialistic people, what are their granthas? What are their scriptures? The newspapers, the novels, and certain imaginary dramas. Okay, so these are the verdicts for them. And they quote also. Shakespeare said this. Shakespeare's novels and dramas, we know what it is. It's all out of his own imagination. So they think that the Lord's pastimes are also on these levels, but it is not so. So the real thing is that these people, they are basically these materialistic people who basically engage in, they are just basically engaged in elevating their economic lifestyle in the material aspects only. They are never interested in any activities of the Lord. On the contrary, they would like to know what a sportsman has done, what a politician has done, or what a rich person of the world has contributed to the world. This is what their focus is mainly on, but never on the transcendental activities of the Lord. Now, coming to the point, what I really wanted to say. We know that we just finished the festival of Panihati. Now, what is this mood of the festival of Panihati? It is just to serve, isn't it? Devotee taking the mercy of the Lord from a distance, because that devotee, that is Raghunath Das Goswami, he thought that I am not capable to go in front of the Lord. I am totally a fallen soul. How can I go in front of the Lord? He was thinking crippled of himself. So from far itself, he took the mercy, or he paid obeisances to Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Lord Nityananda Prabhu said, "You are a cheater. You are taking mercy from a long distance without coming right in front of me. For this you owe a punishment." Okay. Now, what is the punishment? You have to serve prasadam to all the devotees. Okay. So the prasadam category and everything, we all know that. So this is what a devotee is expected from the Lord. And this comes out of his own accord. The devotee's own accord, it comes. If you tell the Lord to do this particular activity which a devotee does, the Lord can never do that. But the devotee only has a capacity to do. Now, let us take the same episode or the same bhava if we take to Ramayana. When we take in Ramayana, what happens is that Lakshmana, for years and years, or 14 years of Lord Rama's exile, Lakshmana never ate anything. He never ate even a morsel of grain. What was his point of view for not eating? his point of view was that my Prabhu, that is Lord Rama, he is just having roots and fruits. So I want to be lower than that status. Now, is there anything in this world which is lower than roots and fruits? Nothing. You cannot find anything to eat, isn't it? What human beings can eat, nothing is there. So therefore, he stayed totally without any food throughout. But he is of a character, or a devotee is of a character which he doesn't show. My God, if I do Ekadashi, 10 people around the house will know that I did Ekadashi.
चला गया?
नहीं, वो सुबह ड्यूटी में किया.
सुबह?
नाइट में आएगा.
Is there a counter preaching going on?
नाइट में आएगा.
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा.
अभी पार्किंग में लगा है.
हाँ हाँ हाँ.
आप ऐसा इधर रखेगा ना, उधर से ऊपर रखेगा. सुबह पार्किंग कर सकता है.
इधर?
अच्छा, आगे ऊपर लगा.
Can we, Prabhu?
इधर
से बेस्ट.
हरे कृष्णा वीरेंद्र प्रभु जी काइंडली.
हाँ हाँ.
हरे कृष्णा. हरे कृष्णा वीरेंद्र प्रभु जी काइंडली म्यूट. वीरेंद्र प्रभु जी.
Yeah, he has done. Thank you, Mataji. So, where were we? Yeah, so if we do a Ekadashi, 10 people around the house or the whole community will know today's Ekadashi. She is fasting. But a person who is a true devotee, he doesn't allow anybody to know about it. What did Lakshmana do? Though along with when the Vanaras were served prasadam, when they used to go for the battle or when they had gone for the battle, when the Vanaras were served prasadam, he will take his quota of prasadam and he will not eat it. Okay, because he didn't want to show anybody. What he will do is that he'll take that prasadam and go and offer it silently under a tree root. He will just go and just keep it there under a tree root. So, after the whole war was, everything was over and Ramaraja came and Lord Rama was coronated and everything of that sort. So, Lord Rama, he's not like the modern kings. He called each and every devotee who helped him, even the smallest service which was done by a Vanara, they were all rewarded. So like this, he called Sugriva, etc. Everybody was called, Jambavan and everybody was called. And then finally Lakshmana was called. And when Lakshmana, they were all greeted, they were all given certain gifts. Then when Lakshmana was called, Lord Rama said, you know that Lakshmana stayed hungry, or he did not eat even a morsel of food for all the 14 years that he was there with me in the forest. People didn't believe. So Vanaras, but he took his parcel, but he took his leaf pack and everything. We saw him taking his prasadam quota. So what happened to that? So then, in order to convince them, Lord Rama called one Devi, that is the forest Devata. So she came, she was summoned, and then she came and she said that, yes, Lakshmana did not have, but excepting 6 days, only for 6 days, he did not come and keep the parcel under my tree roots. Other than 6 days, all the other days, Lakshmana, all the other days in the 14 years, Lakshmana had kept the parcel under some of the tree roots. So Lord Rama asked, so Lakshmana, so 6 days you ate food. Huh? So Lakshmana said, no, my lord, 6 days I was not offered any food. So when I was not offered, I never went to ask. I was not offered at all. So this is what the service of a true devotee is. Now Lakshmana's wife, Urmila, she was also called for and given certain gifts and everything. But she said, because she was staying in separation from her husband throughout, like she was always burning the lamp throughout, so that there was a lamp which was there throughout in front of the altar. All the 14 years she was seeing that the lamp never dies. Let it be day or night, she used to go and caress that lamp very much. So she said that, my lord, we do not want any gifts of yours. We do not want to be anointed with any name or fame or anything. What we want is to secretly serve you behind, that is at your back, we want to serve you, not in front of you. So therefore, wishing to Urmila's desire, the Lord told that where the Lord's Aarti is taken, we light the dhoop, right? The agarbati as we call it. that doop's incense is Urmila. Urmila is one who gives energy. When you get the incense smell, you get some vibration. It's a sanctified vibration, isn't it? The cosmos itself becomes, or the area itself becomes so sanctified. So that smell is Urmila. A lady who gives urja is called as Urmila, or a lady who gives energy is called as Urmila. So this is how the service of a devotee is. Now, I hope the devotees understood a difference between what is it to become a holy person and what is it to become a spiritual person. A holy person is just a karma kandi who is temporary. Okay, I have to do something good. I have to do a puja. That have to do mood is there. But in the spiritual aspect, I want to do. That surrender comes. I want to chant. I want to serve the Lord Prasadam. I want to serve my deities. I want to serve the devotees. That want to comes. It comes on your own account. Nobody is pumping it into you. But a holy person or a holy man, a person who thinks that he has to be doing something good, he is always conditioned. He is always conditioned. Okay, Lord, I will do this puja if you give me this benefit. He is having a business transaction there with the Lord. So from this verse, we come to know that before we came into Krishna consciousness, this was our situation. But now, over the years of being in Krishna consciousness, we have to change into being somebody like Urmila. Silently serving the Lord at the back or the lotus feet of the Lord, rather than projecting oneself regarding our services. So, yes, so these are the points. And anything else, devotees would like the next verse is slightly there. So, shall I go for the next verse, or shall I take up some questions if devotees have, or suggestions or points? Sukhagat Prabhu, Hare Krishna, long time.
You can take the next. Hare Krishna, Mother. Sorry, Mataji, I was busy. Today, actually, Shamdev was speaking for Guru Maharaj glorification. No, I had sent you also. Whenever he spoke about Guru Maharaj glorification.
Okay, yeah.
The Thursday throwback. I'll send you the link.
Yeah.
So you can take the next verse. You can take again.
Fine.
Yeah.
Text 19.
From your Mukharvindam, nectar is flowing.
Yeah. Yecha chuta katha sudham hitva srinvanti asadghata purisham iva vidbujah. Translation. Such persons are condemned by the supreme order of the Lord because they are averse to the nectar of the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are compared to stool-eating hogs. They give up hearing the transcendental activities of the Lord and indulge in hearing of the abominable activities of materialistic persons. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Everyone is addicted to hearing of the activities of another person, whether a politician or a rich man or an imaginary character whose activities are created in a novel. There are so many nonsensical literature, stories, and books of speculative philosophy. Materialistic persons are very interested in reading such literature, but when they are presented with genuine books of knowledge like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu Puran, or other scriptures of the world such as the Bible, Quran, they are not interested. These persons are condemned by the Supreme Order as being as much as a hog is condemned. The hog is interested in eating stool. If the hog is offered some nice preparation made of condensed milk or ghee, he won't like it. He would prefer obnoxious, bad-smelling stool, which he finds very relishable. Materialistic persons are considered condemned because they are interested in hellish activities and not in transcendental activities. The message of the Lord's activities is nectar, and besides that message, any information in which we may be interested is actually hellish. The same point continues here. So here we have come up to the scriptures. So such people who are totally not interested in spiritual activities or reading Srila Prabhupada's, rather reading spiritual books, they are simply compared to stool-eating hogs. And because they just do not want to hear any transcendental activities of the Lord, but totally indulge in abominable materialistic activities. Any number of trash literatures which is there in the market, which is sold, like stories and novels and speculative philosophies and all these things. All these are literatures which are attracting these people. But if you present to them a Srimad Bhagavatam or a Bhagavad Gita, especially those who are doing book distribution, they will know this much better. So when they are given the Bhagavad Gita or the Bhagavatam, they are absolutely not interested. And such people are condemned by the Lord himself as a hog, just like a hog, better to say that word. So here, the example given is that if you give a nice preparation made of ghee and milk and everything in front of a hog, if you offer him, hey, take this is prasad, this will elevate your life. Prasade sarva dukkhanam and all, if you go and tell him, he will just smell it and he will say, this is very bad. And he will again go back to his drain and eat eat his hoggish food from there. So this is what such people, those who are totally averse to the concept of being spiritual, they do not find all these literatures to be, that is Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, to be quite relishable. Rather, they feel they condemn this. And finally, they do hellish activities, and naturally they go down to the nether regions of the world wherein they have to suffer for whatever they have done. So the message or the activities or the pastimes of the Lord are very nectarine. But the people who are not wanting to hear that, they really land up in a hellish condition of life. So this is the same thing which is getting carried on, that this is a situation, all these three verses are a situation of us, wherein before we entered into the association of Vaishnavas, we came to realize it. But now we have entered into the association of the Vaishnavas, and we should grow from there. Understand or try to read the literatures of the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and practicalize it into our lives. Hare Krishna. Any suggestions, points? Rameshwar Prabhu, please pull the Ratha on our behalf also. You are given this particular service on our side. Humble service.
Sure, Mataji. Sure, Mataji. I just landed in Coimbatore.
As you're pulling the Lord,
Yeah.
please pray for us, Prabhu.
Sure, Mataji. Sure, definitely. Because after a few years, everything coming to normal this year. Many Rath Yatras everywhere. Maybe 2 Rath Yatras this time. I will attend, one in Coimbatore, one in Kannur. Kannur this week and next week in Coimbatore.
Okay.
Yeah. You're in Coimbatore airport now, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. I'm waiting in
airport.
Baggage.
Yeah, for the baggage.
Yeah.
Mata, you did wonderful. 3 verses you did, not today, 16, 17, 18.
19, yeah, 18 and 19, Prabhu. 17, 18, 19.
I think after 2 words, devotional service will start. I think after 2 words, the good thing will start.
Yeah.
All this hog eating is only next 2 words, and afterwards, couple they will tell about devotional service.
Yeah. So if devotee is okay with it, so then.
Ajit Prabhu, कुछ बोलना है आपको?
नहीं प्रभु जी, all good. I started, but in between I missed the Mataji's session. Sorry, Mataji.
Mataji is always wonderful sessions. He will just Ganga will flow from her lotus mouth.
That's tempered.
Yeah.
Immediately on
it. Wonderful teacher, wonderful spiritual teacher.
Right.
Extempore and practical.
Yeah, extempore.
Practical is not there. Extempore is useless.
And very relishing. Real nectar when it comes out, and in the ears it goes so nicely.
It is my Guru Maharaj's mercy on me, because he knows that I am a useless Prabhu. And if I leave her like that, she will drown in the dungeons of material existence. So that's why he is picking up me.
Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam, you are showing it. The Rasamalayam. with all your blessings, Shabdahari made a very good. I think Ramachandra Prabhu came and joined and you left in between.
No, Prabhu,
he did
actually,
it
you know,
in 1 hour.
now I landed and I heard the last one. In Mumbai, when I boarded the flight, I heard Sabdagiri's class, and then flight went up and disconnected. Network gone.
It's
So,
correct.
started in one class, landed in different classes.
He started with Bangalore and he ended up with Damodar.
Hare Krishna.
I saw Sabdagiri Prabhu holding umbrella for Guru Maharaj, and
Okay.
just after Sabdagiri Prabhu, and then the network gone.
Melkote. It was in Melkote.
Yeah. He told me. Yeah. I was there couple of years before in Melkote. Amazing. 3 days we stayed there. So many temples.
Oh, so many
So
temples.
beautiful. Purushottam Prabhu from Chowpatty, he took us a yatra there. Each temple so much Ramanujacharya, Leela place.
There's a Nachiyar also. There's a Muslim Nachiyar in the temple.
Yeah, yes.
And that Krishna is very wonderful. I forgot when. There's a good Krishna there who is so beautiful. And Chapu Mustafalin Varakore, Bhal Laglo.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
2 elephants receiving us.
Jai.
You saw that, bro? The big elephants.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna, Prabhu. Can I take my leave, Prabhu?
Yeah,
Oh,
Mataji.
so nice, Mataji.
Thank you,
Sure.
Prabhu. Prabhu,
Okay,
please
Mataji.
go
Hare
ahead.
Krishna.
You have the service from our side.
Yes, Mataji. See you
We
next
are
week.
holding
And,
Prabhu's hands.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Contact
Mataji.
Sindhu Devachpati Pranam Pavanjo Vaishnavidyo Namo Namaha. Srimad Bhagavatam Grantaraj ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai.
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 Nath ki
Gecha
jai.
Palika Mataji ki jai.
Jai ho!
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Awesome.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Who is that, Prabhu?
My daughter.
Dr. Mataji.
Very, okay.
Jai.
Usually I
Yeah,
couldn't.
she came to pick me.
Okay, Mole Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mother, my mom.
Hare Krishna. Mother.
Okay,
Doctor and
okay,
daughter.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Gauranga. Nityananda.
Hare Krishna.
Nityananda. Gauranga. Nityananda. Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. सबको मिले वृंदावन धाम। अजीत तो मैं आपको रिकॉर्डिंग भेज देगा, शब्द का रिकॉर्डिंग भेज देगा।
Sure, Prabhu, sure, please.
Prabhuji, please send me to her.
I will send to the link. I will send to there.
Okay, Prabhu. Hare
Hare
Krishna. Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
थैंक यू अजीत। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु। कल आपको क्लास लेना पड़ेगा, वो 12, 13, 14, 15 कल फ्राइडे है। भागवतम मॉर्निंग
Okay, morning. Okay, ठीक है।
हिंदी में।
Okay, Prabhu, thank you. Hare Krishna.
फिर मैं शब्द का भी बताऊंगा, क्या बताया वो के शॉर्ट